Hello everyone. So in this video, we will be discussing the various factors affecting crop production topic, and we will have a quick look at the factors and we will see the important point which we need to keep in mind. Before we move ahead, let us have a brief explanation about crop and crop production. And yep, without any further ado, let's start. Let's define crop. Crop refers to plant sown and harvested by man for economic use. It is a non-animal species or variety that is grown to be harvested as food, fodder, timber, fuel, or for any other economic purposes. Sa madaling salita, ito ay iba't ibang uri ng halaman na pinatutubo at hina-harvest upang maipagbili or for profit purposes. While crop production, it deals with the production of various crops, which includes food crops, fodder crops, fiber crops, sugar, oilseeds, and many more. It includes agronomy, soil science, entomology, pathology, microbiology, and etc. And crop production is a complex process. Its success depends on crop and environmental factors both. Apart from this, socioeconomic and political factors also determine the success of crop production. It is an art, science, and business. So, ang crop production o produksyon ng pananim, ito naman ay proseso ng mga pinatubong pananim para sa domestic at commercial purposes. Ito ay sangay ng agrikultura na nakikibahagi sa pagli ng mga nilinang halaman. Ngayon alam na natin ang definisyon ng crop at crop production, dumako naman tayo sa factors nito. There are several factors affecting the crop production. These factors are to be taken into consideration by a crop producer, or also called farmer, during crop planning and crop production. Some of these factors are under control of the producer, whereas others can be modified for obtaining good results. On the contrary, some factors are beyond the control of the crop producer, such as factors within total control, factors that can be manipulated, and factors outside the producer's control. Now, let's move ahead to its general factor, the internal and external factors affecting the crop production. Alright, so internal factors or genetic factors, from its words genetic, factors are related to genetic makeup of plants. As what I said, the characters are less influenced by environmental factors since they are governed by genetic makeup of crop. So these are the high yielding ability, early maturity, resistance to lodging, drought flood and salinity tolerance, tolerance to insect, pests and diseases, chemical composition of grains, quality of grains, and quality of straw or yung sweetness and juiciness. While the environmental factors or ang tinatawag natin external factors, ito naman ay nakaka-impluwensya sa agrikultura ng pananim katulad ng terrain, climate, soil properties, and soil water. Ito ay mga kombinasyon ng apat na kadahilanan na nag-aalaw ng pananim na tumubo. Meron tayong 5 kinds na external factors. Una dito ay ang climatic, sunod ang edaphic, sunod ang biotic, at sunod yung physiographic at ang socio-economic. Sa external factor, meron tayong tinatawag na biotic and abiotic factors. Ang biotic or living factors that influence an ecosystem, ito yung relating to or resulting from living things, especially in their ecological relations. Examples of biotic ay ang plants, animals, and bacteria. While the abiotic, ito yung non-living components or factors that influence an ecosystem, such as water, soil, and atmosphere. The way these components interact is critical in an ecosystem. So, part po siya ng external factor. Okay, so pinakauna sa external factors ay ang climatic factors. From its word climatic, related siya sa climate. So, nearly 50% of yield is attributed to the influence of climatic factors katulad ng precipitation, temperature, atmospheric humidity, solar radiation, wind velocity, and atmospheric gases. So, meron siyang 6 na atmospheric weather variables na nag-influence or which influences the crop production. So, ang una sa atmospheric weather variables ng climatic factors ay ang temperature. A measure of intensity of heat energy is called temperature. The range of temperature for maximum growth of most of the agricultural plants is between 15 and 40 degrees Celsius. The temperature of a place is largely determined by its distance from the equator or latitude and altitude. It influences distribution of croplands and vegetation. Germination, growth, and development of crops are highly influenced by temperature. It affects leaf production, expansion, at flowering. Physical and chemical processes within the plants are governed by air temperature. Diffusion rates of gases and liquid changes with temperature. Solubility of different substances in plants is dependent on temperature. The minimum, maximum, and optimum temperature of individual plants is called as cardinal temperature. Second is stellar relative humidity or atmospheric humidity na tinatawag. Water is present in the atmosphere in the form of invisible water vapor, normally known as humidity. Relative humidity is ratio between the amount of moisture present in the air to the saturation capacity of the air at a particular temperature. If relative humidity is 100%, it means that the entire space is filled with water and there is no soil evaporation, plant transpiration. A relative humidity influences the water requirement of crops. Relative humidity of 40 to 60% is suitable for most of the croplands. Very few crops can perform well when relative humidity is 80% and above. When relative humidity is high, there is chance for the outbreak of pest and disease. So next is precipitation. So what is precipitation? It includes all water which falls from atmosphere such as rainfall, snow, hail, fog, and dew. Rainfall is one of the most important factors influences the vegetation of a place. A total precipitation in amount and distribution of greatly affects the choice of cultivated species in a place. In heavy and evenly distributed rainfall areas, crops like rice and plains, and tea, coffee, and rubber in western Ghats are grown, while in low and uneven distribution of rainfall is common in dryland farming, where drought-resistant crops like pear millet, sorghum, and minor millets are grown. In desert areas, grasses and shrubs are common, where hot desert climate exists. Though the rainfall has major influence on yield of crops, yields are not always directly proportional to the amount of precipitation as exist above optimum reduces the yields, and distribution of rainfall is more important than total rainfall to have longer growing period, especially in drylands.